All right, hello everyone, and welcome to our hangout, the relationships you don't think you can have with me, Brett. This is Georgia, and we have with us Susanne Mittermeier, all the way from Winternacht in Austria.
Yes.
That's my English, Austrian, or German put together of winter and night.
It's amazing. I'm impressed. It sounds very German.
Thank you. I recently uncovered some German past lives, so I'm living it out now.
Haven't we all somehow?
Yeah, we're all just from Germany. That's where life began on the planet.
Exactly.
But anyway, so I was the person who looked at this and said, okay, Georgia and I are in a relationship here. We're doing some relationship classes coming up, and Susanna is also doing a relationship class coming up, and she's amazing, and I have no idea what her point of view is about relationship or how she creates the relationships in her life. And I read her book, Pragmatic Psychology, which is friggin' awesome. And I wanted to really like kind of pick your brain and have a conversation about relationship because I get that we, like all three of us, do it in a completely different way, and I have no idea what that is. So thanks for joining us, Susanna.
You're so welcome, and thank you for having the idea to doing this. Because relationship is such a mega topic in this reality. I mean, there's nobody who has not ever thought about that or had, any kind of mini trouble at least with that, because it's such a big thing in this reality. And I love that we come from totally different perspectives, and what contribution can we be to each other, and what contribution can we, with our different perspectives, be to the world. So you two are in a relationship, and the way you create your relationships, and I say create your relationship, is just absolutely fantastic and not something that we normally see in this world. This is something where I go, wow, it's actually possible to have two people who like each other and create something that works for them and create something that works for each and one of them. So what I mostly see and have seen in my work is something totally different, and what we all see in the world is something totally different. I mean, most people, number one, never even ask truth, do I really desire a relationship? Everybody just assumes that they should have one. So everybody creates this need of having someone in their lives and having this, box of, okay, I have a relationship, check. Or I don't have one, oh my God, I have to find one to make this, tick this box. So I have this thing that I should have as well. We all it's the standard of this reality. It's money, it's career, it's family, it's, relationship, all of these things, kids, are things that we're supposed to fulfill or meet other people's in this reality's expectations, and one of them relationship. And the funny thing is, people don't even ask truth. Whose reality am I making real? Whose life am I trying to live? And is this really something for me? So how was this for you guys? I mean, you have been together for a while, and how has it been before that? With this question, is this something for me?
Well, for me personally, I was a serial monogamist for a long time.
What is that, Brett? Tell us.
A serial monogamist is somebody who goes from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship. And I did that from the age of like 13 up until about like 20, 22, 21, something like that. And until I ended up getting sick for about like a year and a half. And after that point, like all the friends that I had went away. Like the whole life I had beforehand went away. And I was just kind of starting brand new. So I was just like, after I got out of being sick, I found the tools of Access Consciousness, and I started asking the questions of like, what can I create here? Like, what would I like to have? Who would I like to have in my life? And I made a list. And I didn't have a point of view. I'd forgotten that I had done the list. And then a couple months later, Georgia showed up, and we started playing together.
Yeah, we met in an Access class, and but prior to that, I had a 5-year relationship that, like when Susanna, you asked about who are you kind of creating these relationships for, it was like for me now looking back, it was a case of doing what I thought I was supposed to do, finding somebody that that I thought I could spend my whole life with. And with Fred, it's like we just enjoy hanging out together. There was no computation at the beginning, like, is this the right person for me? Is he somebody that I could see myself with long term? Is this person going to have a stable future? You know, like, what are they doing to be like a good partner, and are they willing to compromise? Like, I did all of that stuff in that first relationship, and I was pretty young too, so, you know, it was still like all of that.
You are young.
Yeah, totally. That too, but it was all of that with a very kind of immature way of looking at it, but that's where we're supposed to start. It's like, in this reality, we're supposed to start relationships really young, and even one of the major ideals and fantasies and things that we all wish we could have is, like, you know, being high school sweethearts and then just being together with that one person our whole lives. But, you know, it just doesn't work for most people. Maybe it could work for some, but yeah.
So what you talk about here is like this conclusion that people come to. It's like, okay, we start out as teenage sweethearts. I mean, that would be the American version, or, you know, whatever it's in other countries. And then you're supposed to end up dying in the same, you know, same graveyard together. And you know, doesn't this sound like fun?
Or like the other one dies of a broken heart, and you know, then they get buried next to each other.
And we have the whole telenovela, you know, just perfect. And this is like the drama that people totally create.
Right, or you don't hear anything in between. It's like they meet and then they die, but then you don't hear anything in between about the story of, like, daily life. So what we're kind of looking to do, and what I've always wanted to do ever since I was really young, I had this kind of idea that there was something else possible. Like, I would look around and see the relationships that other adults had, and I just didn't see anything that I wished that I could be a part of, or would even, like, touch with a 10-foot pole. It was like, nope, not that one, that one, that one, like, none of them. So one of the things that I'd like to do is just play with, and Brett and I do this on a daily basis, is just playing with, like, what is my reality with relationship? What would I like to have? And then let that really be okay, and not base it against what other people are doing or what we're supposed to want, and hopefully potentially give that kind of, like, freedom and permission to other people to say, hey, you can look at what would really work for you too.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're talking about here is the willingness to create your relationship every day. So what, you know, so this is great for the viewers to just get, you know, so these are great examples of how we're taught to create conclusions. We're like, okay, we meet somebody and it seems like, oh yeah, fun, woo woo woo, and then, okay, so this is the one. Like, we're taught to constantly go to conclusion, to, okay, this is the person I will create a relationship with, which is the start of making it die. You know, you're like the party pooper if you do conclusions. But this is the part, you know, we're taught to be party poopers by just coming to these conclusions. Rather than what you guys are talking about and what you're embodying is the creation of the relationship every day, which is like, I had a friend who a couple of years ago, she got married, and she is very young, and she was very young. And so she was kind of freaky and getting freaked because she was getting married. She said, oh my God, I will have to be with this man for until death do us part. Oh my God. So I said, yeah, that is the conclusion. We have been trained in this reality to be together until death do us part, the ultimate conclusion. So I asked her, so what if you give yourself permission to let go of this person every day, and to destroy and uncreate this relationship every day, and to ask yourself, not out loud, just for you, every day, truth, would I like to be married to this man today? So she said, oh my God, that totally gave me this this freedom of you know, having this choice of would I would like to continue this relationship or not. And that gave her the courage to actually to get married. And this is what you two are doing so much. I mean, you're never coming to conclusion. What I know about you, you're like, okay, so today, you know, would I like to play with this person today? And if yes, how? You know, the playfulness that you two are, it's just incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, I really think they should change that whole thing from till death do us part till to till boredom do us part. I think that would make relationships a lot more fun on the planet.
Yeah, or it's not fun anymore until something else shows up that seems to work better. It's like none of those things are. That would actually be considered like really bad, If you left your husband, if something else came along that would be more fun, more ease, maybe the person had more money or like whatever it is that makes it more enjoyable. It's like that's just.
Yeah, it's I'd actually I'd totally be happy for Georgia if somebody better than me came along, like for her. That would be awesome.
That's generosity of spirit. Yeah, wow.
And then I could even if I would like to look for somebody else, that would be even better than Georgia. I don't think that's possible, but.
Well, that's kind of what's funny. Is like when you allow for those ideas and you don't have the conclusion that this person has to be the end all be all for me.
You don't have to fight.
Then you actually can see where a person is way greater than where a conclusion would come in and start limiting that. Because humanoids, we're rebellious beings. If we make a conclusion or a decision or we're supposed to have the point of view that this person is it for us, we're going to start to look elsewhere just because there's a rule placed on us. And it's something that I found that the fewer rules there are, the more I actually can have a sense of what I really desire. And, there is a chance that we will be together for the rest of our lives, but we haven't made a conclusion about that. And for some people, that wouldn't work. So that's part of what we're talking about is just presenting different ideas so that you can start to look at what works for you or what ideas start to kind of titillate you or spur your interest, and then,
because I don't think our relationship, the relationship that Georgia and I have, it wouldn't work for anybody else on the planet.
Right.
And that's how
that's
we're in
great.
the. Yeah. It's and you see people all the time who are saying that they have a great relationship. People are actually, what you see is people going, oh, I'd like to have a relationship like they have it, or like they have it, or like they have it, because that seems like a perfect relationship. But there really isn't a perfect relationship because every single person is different. We all have different views. We have different ways of interacting with the world. And what's going to be the relationship that actually works for you, whether it's with you or with adding somebody else to that as well.
Yeah,
and that's a great point. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point because it's such a rightness to have a relationship and a wrongness to not have one. Or when you have one, you think it's wrong to have one, and it's whatever you have, it's wrong, or whatever you not have is wrong, right? So and it's I like what you say. It's you can it doesn't matter who you have a relationship or what. I mean, you can have a relationship with the world. You can have a relationship with every molecule of this planet. You can have a relationship with the woods. You can have a relationship with whatever, which is actually all of what we call relationship, but it's actually more like a communion. Your willingness to be with everything. And so for me, for example, I've found out that relationships are not really something that I look for or strive for, but this took me a while to actually acknowledge and get out of the wrongness for it. I've been having a relationship for 10 years, just a couple of years ago, that broke up, and it's been such a rightness to have that thing in my world. It was living somebody else's reality, and after that, I tried the thing you said about, you talked about the serial monogamy, like trying one and the next one, and I'm like, oh, that was nice too. And then, but I still had this thing in my world, there is some kind of rightness. I think I should have one, or I think I should want one. And I realized, wow, that is not even my reality. And then I had a conversation with a friend of ours, Gary Douglas, and he said, well, you're just too needless to have a relationship. And I'm like, wow. And I've been making this so extremely wrong, to not needing anybody. And I think many people do that because many people either look for a relationship because they think they need someone, or they think they maintain a relationship because they think they need that person. But it's like when you really have a relationship where you create it rather than maintain it, it always comes from a needlessness. It always comes from, you creating your life and the other person creating their lives. And it's also when you see people who have this, people are really attractive, people who you go, wow, this person is so interesting. These are always the people who truly create their own lives, right? They're the people who go, they're always like having this energy in their world of, I do know what I desire, and I go for it and do not allow anybody or anything stop me. These are the people who are extremely attractive, and people go, oh my God, I so want to be with this person. So I was asked, so what if we can be this for ourselves? Like you, Brett, mentioned before, what if you could have that kind of relationship with yourself? And then it doesn't matter whether you have someone in your life or you don't, right? So how was that for you when you started to, when you got together and you started to create with each other? Did you notice times where you went into, okay, now we have to be together, and how different it was when you started to create your own lives? Is there something that you can talk about?
That's funny. What would you say about that?
I would say on a day-to-day basis, because we do business stuff together in addition to having our like romantic relationship and our friendship. There are times where we would be working on a project and think that we needed to have like the same vision on that, and that like kind of a microcosm, like a mini version of that. I don't really see, and maybe it's been maybe more towards the beginning of the relationship, but it's more like little things instead of like the overall picture. So like we just kind of got to the bottom of like what was going on with sometimes when we would create some kind of a product or like be working on a creative project, and then something would start to kind of like not work, and we would both kind of go into wrongness about like why it wasn't working. But when we kind of started to uncover what that was about, it was like we thought we were supposed to have the same vision of the thing because we get along so amazingly well, and actually we do read each other's minds a lot. So it's actually more surprising than not when we don't get what's going on with the other person. So we had to kind of look at, okay, wow, our creations are different, even if we're working on a project together. It might be that we have different visions. So who's going to kind of own this project? Who's going to own this other project? So that's where we can have our own realities within a project and say, okay, so I'm taking the lead on this part, you're taking the lead on that part, let's come together. So that kind of mini version can also be applied to the bigger version, which is just leading life like that.
And all the different things. I mean, when we planned our trip to India last month, Georgia took care of a whole lot of it, and she owned pretty much the project as a whole.
Yeah.
And she gave me some things in there to own. And she didn't try to own any of those things that she gave me to own, which was great. So I took care of getting our visas taken care of, and
which is the part that I had no interest in doing, but I knew that Brett would do an amazing job. And
right. Yeah. And when we travel, like with our travel relationship, my job is to always make it fun as we're going through it. So
that gives me permission too to be grumpy sometimes, because it's not my job to make it fun. Like, it's weird because these things aren't as like delineated or linear as they sound. It's not like this is the fun one, this is the grumpy one. It's more like you just know how things end up kind of working. It's a very strange thing.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, Susanna, because I've noticed something very weird about you, and that is your relationship with your parents. Actually, like, talk about relationships you don't think you can have. A lot of people don't really have the best relationship with their parents, or the easiest relationship with your parents. So what is your relationship with your parents like, and how does it work, and how do you create that?
It's an onward creation, actually. So I used to do the normal teenage thing. So I gotta say, I'm an only child. So my parents always saw me as they don't saw me, they see me as their thing, their absolute, how do you say, the most important thing in their lives. And it used to bother me so much because, being someone's be-all and end-all is pretty, full on. It sounds like, oh my God, I want to be somebody's everything. but I'm not sure if you want that, because it really is it means a lot of burden, and it's a lot of, you got to be so much for somebody, and often more than they're willing to receive. So I had this my whole life in my world, and I used to not rebel, but react a lot against it. So I even, to the degree that I moved to a different country just to get some space and to find out what I truly desire. And so I just had no tools how to handle, somebody having, needing me so much. So my only strategy was to just get away and just leave me alone, basically, like teenagers do. And I did this for a long time until I realized, oh my God, that strategy is not so smart. I mean, it gives me some certain areas of peace, and I needed this. I needed it when I was around 19, especially. I did it, when I was 16. I went to Houston by myself to a high school there for a while, which was pretty full on. But all those things were designed just to get some space. And then I realized, wow, this actually never gives me space. And so I asked, so how else can I create my relationship with my parents? Because obviously, if you have family, there's a certain commitment there. You cannot just throw them out and go, hey, leave me alone. It's like I chose these people, so there is a certain commitment. They want me in their life so much. So how can I make this actually work? How can I, be pragmatic around this and make this work? Number one, by having no point of view anymore. By having no point of view that somebody needing me is a wrongness. By having no point of view that it diminishes my space when somebody needs me. So that was something that really set me off to such a big level of receiving than I ever allowed. Because if you have people needing you and you defend against that, it totally diminishes your level of receiving. So I learned to change this for me, and which wasn't the easiest thing, because if you have learned to defend against something or somebody because you think it gives you some freedom or some peace or some sense of you, then it's quite like really, I'm just gonna allow this, and I'm not gonna cease to exist. So this was basically a thing that it took me a while to take that leap and allow myself to receive whatever my parents need me to be for them. And then I realized, what if allowing them to need me the way they need me does not diminish me at all? What if I can be everything that I be, no matter what they or other people need from me? And that totally changed my world. So from then on, I could receive them and can receive them in a totally different way. And our relationship shifted. So now I meet them very often, actually, and hang out with them and have so much fun. Because I learned to see where they're functioning from, have no point of view about it, and ask, so how can I use this to create my life? How can I use what they need from me to create my life? So what that changed is basically where you employ somebody else's needs for you. Mm-hmm. Not make it wrong, not defend against it, but employ their needs for you. So for example, the whole thing started with my mother, for example, working with my business now. And both of them, my mom and my dad, actually work with my business. Both are involved in my business and create with me. And do the things that they're good at, actually brilliant at, better than I am, like bookkeeping and the economic stuff and all that, and moving things along. And so they do these different bits that they're great at, and they're so happy because I'm in their life, and I'm so happy because I don't have a point of view, I'm enjoying them, and they're making my life so much easier. So this is really, I can, for you and everybody listening, it's like this. What if we never ever defend against anybody anymore, whether they need us or don't need us? I mean, you can have the opposite version of parents or people in your life that dismiss you or leave your life. That's just the other version of it. What if we don't need to defend against their need of leaving us, and can have that as a gift too, and be grateful for that, And how can we employ that to create our lives? I mean, what if really we could receive everything without judging it and asking, what contribution is this that I haven't acknowledged? But what this really takes is for us to getting over our points of view. That's not always the easiest thing. It's not, it's like those dear points of view of, oh my God, he did me wrong, or oh my God, they need me so much. And especially with relationship, the drama is so seductive, like the telenovela of it all. You go like, oh my God, this is so important. I need to keep this. In order to have a relationship, I need to keep the drama. And it's like being willing to let go of the necessity and the need of the drama of it all, to in favor of the creation of it all, which honestly not many people are willing to have. Like for most people, the drama is way more valuable than the creation part.
Yeah, well, that's what's sold as entertainment here, drama, like on the TVs and movies and all sorts of other stuff. It's about like how dramatic is it, and like, are you on the edge of your seat, like not knowing what's dramatic thing's going to happen next? Like, what if relationship didn't have to be that way? What if there didn't have to be a conflict? What if you're on the edge of your seat, like, what can we create next? Like,
Totally. And the nurturing and the caring we can be for each other by enjoying whatever we're creating, whether we have a relationship or we don't, whether it's with our parents or our friends or our partners or pets or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I mean, the form and the structure, how it shows up, who cares? And whether people are dismissive of you or love you or need you, I mean, if you don't have a point of view about you, the nurturing and the caring, anything that's in your life can be to you is just incredible. It's like, wow. I mean, I could have never thought that my parents that I could have received so much from them, and that I could receive their caring, even if it didn't look the way I wanted it to look. Now I don't care anymore. Now I love the way it shows up, and it's just like, wow, these people are just one of the kindest, sweet people I know. And how does it get any better than this? And we're all nuts anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, I can totally see that applying in so many different areas too. Like not just to relationship with parents, but like relationship with, let's say, like you're somebody who's had a husband for like 50 years, and all of a sudden you're getting over your point of views about your husband and how he's always been and how he needs you or doesn't need you, and then like that starts to change the relationship.
And then it's almost like maybe the relationship can feel new and different, because what would a relationship be like when it was completely based on points of views, and then the points of views get removed? So luckily with the tools of Access Consciousness, we can go in there, do some energetic clearings, which helps the points of view start to change. It's like, it's all about the choice of like making that choice for yourself to change, but the energetic clearings make it actually seem like a possibility, because sometimes it doesn't seem like it can change, but there really isn't anything that's completely impossible to change. So
yeah, and it only takes one person in a relationship to change change the whole thing. You don't need both people.
Yeah. Who's that one person?
You or me or somebody else.
Cool.
Not very smart to leave it to the other person, whomever that other person, even if they're wonderful and lovely.
You mean I shouldn't change?
Right.
Okay, good.
Oh, then you're so cute. So Georgia mentioned Access Consciousness, and I just want to say the tools are just really amazing. And just before we started this hangout, I found this clearing, which clearing is something we use with Access Consciousness to change. Like all the things we brought up now are just points of view that we can destroy and uncreate it. And we're not going to go into details because there's so many videos you can go online and check out more about that stuff. But let's do this, and we can just tell you where you can find more information. So who or what are you willing to give you away to, that if you didn't give you away to it, would give you all of you? And everything that is times Godzillion, will you please destroy and uncreate it? That's the words. Wow. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So just this pot and pock, right, wrong, and so on. That's the Access Consciousness clearing statement, and you can find more on theclearingstatement.com, right? Theclearingstatement.com, and then everything is explained, and all the weird blah blah. I just said you can just look it up, and it's just one way of changing. Like all of those points of view that we just talked about come up with relationships. Where you go, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. You just go, everything that is all that crap, all that insanity I now say bye-bye to destroy and uncreate. And then you use this clearing statement. So let's do it again just for clarity. So who or what are you willing to give you away to that if you did not give you away to it would give you all of you? And everything that is times godzillion to make it stronger, will you please destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Oh, that's a good one. So, and if you didn't get it, you just, press replay on that video, and you can just see it again and do that clearing again, hear it again, because every time you do it, it will just run deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and you will have more of you, and you will let go of those places where you give up you for whoever you've decided is more valuable than you. Yeah.
And so if people change more of this, Susanna, I know you're doing a class, we're doing a class. What are you doing? Like, what is your class about, and when does it start?
Oh, so I have a 3-part telecall, which means three evenings in Europe, or 3 days, which is like 3 times 1.5 hours. A telecall which is called Pragmatic Relationships, and this is where we're going to look all those areas where you make your relationships, however they are, in whichever form, more complicated and less working for you than you actually desire. So, I mean, all those points of view we brought up now is this dramatic that we make in our lives about the relationships we have and how we make them not work for us. So this is where we're going to unravel that and look at, so how, what is it you desire? What needs do you have that you make real? Destroy and uncreate them. What desires do you have? And how can you actually create relationships so they work for you? And obviously the 3-part telecall is a door opener to that. I mean, there's so much more to that topic, but it's going to set you off to a different platform of creation. And there's so much more relationship stuff in Access, you two doing relationship classes and other facilitators. So, there's so much more. Just check out what works for you. And what are you guys doing? I mean, you're doing relationship classes as well.
Yeah, we're actually doing a 3-part teleseries also about a week after yours, which is
nice.
Awesome. We wanted to do a boom,
really
bam,
stuff.
Roto-Rooter out your old reality.
So do both. So great, I love it.
Yeah. So we're calling ours "Escaping the Insanity of Relationship," and we did an intro call about a week and a half ago. Yeah. And that was really awesome. It was really fun. It was really intense.
Lots and lots of clearing.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of explanation. Yeah, there was a lot of clearing.
Bam. Yeah.
Bam, 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 right in a row. So yeah, ours is starting on March 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We're having it.
And I think the link.
Yeah, the link is that weird little link that is down here.
Yeah.
QR./relationship.
We wanted to. Kind of go into the insanity part of it too, because it's I was looking at it, and it seems like insanity in the world, there's tons and tons of it. You look around and it's why the fuck the thing, and pardon me, why the bleep or things like that, and then if you look at it, a lot of it comes to where people are in conflict with each other, and even wars. Would there be war if people really fundamentally got rid of their need to create conflict? So just wondering what else we can create.
Yeah, if you didn't have to fight in your relationships, what would you do then?
Yeah.
Yep. If you wouldn't have to fight with you, what could you create? I mean, all those conflictual universes we have. Should I do this or should I not do this? Should I stay in my job or should I not? Should I stay in this relationship or not? Yeah. So what else is possible for this world? I love it. Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for having this hangout together.
It's awesome. Thank you for joining us. This is so cool, how we're both doing classes. It's not, we don't have the points of view that we have to all these people should come to my class and not this class, or people should do a class at all. It's just what could we contribute to each other in the world? Because we're different, we're crazy, and we've got something to contribute.
Yeah, that each of you. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you, Susanna, and thank you everybody for watching this. And yeah, if you'd like to know more, accessconsciousness.com is a great place to start.
Yeah.
Cool. See ya. Bye.
See you. Bye.